What if I told you that being good with money has almost nothing to do with how smart you are? Today, we're jumping into Morgan Housel's incredible book, The Psychology of Money, which makes the case that financial success is really all in your head, not in some complicated spreadsheet.
Okay, let's be honest. We've all asked ourselves this. What's the secret? What's the one single best way to handle my money and actually build some real wealth? You'd think there'd be a simple, straightforward answer, right? Well, here's the twist. According to this book, asking for the best way is the absolute wrong question to even start with. And really understanding why could totally change your relationship with money forever. So, if searching for the best way is a dead end, then what's the right way to think about it? It means we have to ask a completely different question. It's not about finding some universal magic formula. It's about figuring out what makes sense for your life, with your goals and your personality. And here's where the thinking really splits. See, traditional finance is obsessed with the technical stuff, the formulas, the charts, the super complex strategies. But the psychology of money, it shifts the spotlight entirely onto the human side of things, our messy, sometimes irrational, and totally unpredictable behaviors and emotions.
And that idea is really the beating heart of this whole book. It's all about behavior over spreadsheets. The argument is that financial success isn't some hard science that only geniuses can master. No, it's a soft skill, and it's driven entirely by how we act.
It's really not about being a math wizard. True, lasting financial success comes from self-awareness. It's about knowing what triggers your emotions, admitting your own biases, and just staying focused on what you actually want your life to look like in the long run. Now, I know this can all sound a bit theoretical, so let's ground it in a powerful, real-world story that proves this whole idea in the most amazing way. Let's talk about the janitor's fortune. So this is Ronald Reed. To everyone who knew him, he was just a humble janitor and a gas station attendant. He lived a really simple, really quiet life, and he made a very modest income. When Ronald Reed passed away, he left behind a fortune of over $8 million. Yeah, you heard that right. That's not a typo, $8 million. So the question is, how on earth did a janitor do it?
And this is where the lesson just becomes crystal clear. On one hand, you've got the janitor with a tiny income but just unshakable patience who became a multimillionaire. And on the other, you have countless stories of high-flowing execs with massive incomes who ended up totally broke. The takeaway? It's undeniable. It's not about what you earn, it's all about how you behave.
Ronald Reed's story proves that patience isn't just some nice little virtue. Nope. When it comes to money, patience is a flat-out superpower. And that was the real engine that drove his wealth. So first, we have to kind of redefine wealth. It's not your income, it's not the car you drive. Real wealth is the money you don't spend. It's the savings and investments that give you freedom and options. And it's built by keeping your desires in check over decades. So what are the ingredients for that? Well, it really just boils down to these three things. And these three often matter way more than raw intelligence or just getting lucky. It's the discipline to stick to a plan, the patience to let compounding do its thing, and the emotional control to not panic when things get scary or get too greedy when things are booming. Okay, so how do we take these incredible lessons from a janitor and actually apply them to our own lives? Well, that brings us to the final and maybe most important piece. Understanding and writing your own money story.
The path forward is actually quite simple, though that doesn't always mean it's easy. Step 1. You have to take the time to really figure out your personal financial goals. What are you actually trying to achieve? Step 2. Be really honest with yourself about your emotional biases. Do you get scared and sell at the worst time? Do you get overconfident? And finally, step 3. Just focus on consistent behavior. Forget the complex strategies. Consistency will beat complexity every single time.
So in the end, being good with money isn't about what you know, it's about what you do consistently over time. It's about the story you tell yourself and the behaviors that follow. So the real question isn't, what's the best strategy? The real question is, what story are you writing?